All right, so I'm out, get my little walk on after my workout, trying to get, loosen up this last lactic acid in my body. I want to talk about something. The younger generations, really millennials, Gen Z, and soon Gen Alpha, we're at a very pivotal point in time. We can sit here and do what we've watched prior generations do and think that we're going to be the exception, or we can do something different and find another result. And what do I mean by this? I used to work in a hospital doing cleaning, environmental service work. So I'd go in the same way the nurses are in the rooms with the patients, I'm in the rooms with the patients. Sometimes I'm in there for 10 minutes at a time. A lot of times I'm in there for anywhere from about 30 to an hour. You get to know a lot of these patients when you're in there. You get to know a lot of these nurses too. Majority of the people working in the medical field are women. But that's, nothing shocking because we can clearly see majority people working in general in today's time is vastly becoming more and more women. All right. So what am I getting at? What I'm getting at is this. A lot of women are supplementing their life fulfillment for work. And a lot of these policies and rules and way of living that's been put in place by social economic structures are helping aid that. So what does that mean? It's becoming easier and easier for women to become career people. When you're a career person, you're in this field until you retire, you get the old age, and you can't work anymore. A lot of women get kids and they think that's good enough. That ain't it. It ain't it. Being in the hospitals, I worked there for about 30. Being in the hospitals, I worked there for about 3 years. At Yale, the only Yale in the globe. So I used to say when I was in there, just to make people think a little bit. And I sit there and talk to these patients, both men and women. Majority of the time, they were elders. And when I say elders, I mean, usually they were 60 and older. The advice they would give, I'll be honest, that advice most of the time was good for their time. We live in two different realities now. But one thing that stood out majority of the time, and this was across the board for men and women, if only I had somebody to hold my hand in my final moments. I kid you not, I'm not exaggerating. And this was something that I really had to pay attention to because I'm in and out of multiple units, right? My first couple of months, I'm working at the main campus. I'm all over the place. I'm in ICU units. I'm in cancer units, regular recovery units, ICU, emergency departments, and I'm meeting people everywhere. Okay, and this is like, you just ask people. Sometimes people just want to talk because they have nobody to talk to, so people just start venting about their lives. And somewhere down the line, I'd say out of all the conversations I'd have, I say anywhere from 60 to 75%, it boiled down to if only I had somebody to hold my hand in my final moments. So, and I say this too because after 3 months being at the main campus, got back into the hospital, I'm working at another campus that usually house people in their elder years. Now, I'm in and out of ICU units, almost like residential units where patients would be there for days, sometimes weeks on end. You get the few that's there for a couple months on end. But usually these patients are older. And I'm sitting there listening to them, and I'm like, yo, and this to the nurses and to the staff and other staff members, I'm like, do you really hear what they're saying? A lot of them go no, because it's so routine for them. They meet so many people. I'm like, there's wisdom being spread here. I hope people are paying attention. So I started asking nurses, I mean, all over. And this is the career nurses at this point. They've been in the field for 20, 30 years. I'm asking them, hey, throughout your time being a nurse, what's the percentage of people you see that come in actually have somebody by their bedside and don't? The people that actually that have someone by their bedside, these nurses in the same ballpark, anywhere from 15 to 25%. What is that telling us? Majority people, by the time we reach our elder age, don't have anybody to hold our hands. We're having to call people, just to find somebody that's there for them. Some people have nobody, so when they die, nobody cares. And these career nurses will go, and it would be about half of them. I'd say about half of them. Half of them will sit there and actually understand what I'm getting at if I ask that question. And they go, wow, you're actually a thinker. Because it's sad to see that so few people actually have someone by their bedside. A lot of them have kids, and their kids don't even know that they're in the condition they're in. But usually when you have a loved one, your loved one is there with you step by step. Other half of these career nurses elected more than likely not to have kids, or they weren't capable of having kids. They elected not to have a partner, or the partner might have passed on, something of that nature. And I sit there and I say, dang, as a woman, because again, majority nurses are women. As a woman, do you sit here and think that from your experience and watching so many women come in, being at different hospitals, being in so many units, do you think that women are doing better or worse? Oh, absolutely doing worse. Now, mind you, these are the women that have families, that have kids, and are sitting there telling me, I love working, I love what I do, but nothing comes before my family and nothing comes before my man. These are women saying this. So I sit there and I say, well, dang, what got you to this point? Oh, my father, he was a big influence on my life. Okay, so there's things that can be boiled down here. And I'm getting to a point. And as younger generations, we have an opportunity to sit here and do something different. We could sit here and keep coping with the fact that we've been hurt, we've made poor decisions. I mean, both men and women. We're not who we say we are. We're portraying to be someone we're not. All right. And in the end, when it's time to count the chips, you really don't have as many chips as you thought, because you wasn't being authentically you. The authentic person is counted out. The authentic person is deemed as a weirdo sometimes. Doesn't mean they're wrong for that. It's just they're not doing what the average person is willing to do. I forgot who I was listening to. Might have been PBD. Might have been Anton Daniels. It was somebody. They were on a podcast and we were saying, yeah, it might have been Dan Blazeri. It was saying the next evolution of influencers, that bar is being raised so high. And I'm like, well, what's the last bar? The last bar is just the person who is authentically them. And no one on the planet can deny the fact that this person is authentically them. No matter where you go, and people are going to have no choice but to pay attention to them, because for so long, we've seen people putting on personas, portraying to be something they're not, and what has that gotten us? So once you've done all you can of inauthenticity, the only thing that's left is authenticity. So the point I'm getting to is this: for younger generations, if we're not listening to our elders and we're sitting here doing the same thing, thinking that we're going to be the exception, these younger generations are going to be screwed. I mean, we're already feeling the effects of it. So many men today are single. So many men don't even know how to talk to women. Gosh, I'm tired. I worked out crazy today. So many women don't even understand men. Don't even understand. It frustrates women that men are much more simple than what women have been taught to believe. Women are in competition with women as if men can't see it, but we cope because we made shitty decisions as opposed to owning them and then putting in the work to rectify our shitty decisions to be a better person. And it's a shame you don't qualify for what you want. However, what you need will always outweigh what you want. But then you also have guys that don't have genuine father figures or male role models in their life. Just because you make a lot of money, it doesn't make you a man. It does not. There are little boys and girls that will build a lemonade stand and make hundreds of dollars a day. Money is not a great barometer on whether someone is a man or not, or a woman or not. The point I'm getting to is this: the vast majority of people that we are seeing today, and I'm no longer in the medical field, this is stuff that I've been sitting back observing and just paying attention to with pure intention on trying to see where a lot of this stuff is leading. And I'm like, dang, if this is Yale, so many other hospitals, and if the notion is, dang, this is a great name that we're looking at, and these are the people that's coming in from all over the state. But then we also see nurses coming in from different hospitals, and they're seeing the same thing. Clearly we're not doing anything different. It's getting a lot warmer out here. It's supposed to be cold today, but shout out the sun, shout out nature. I'm loving it. A lot of women sit there in their final moments, will sit there and tell you, and so many times I wanted to break down and cry. So many times I want to break down and cry. But the professionalism is, I can't be crying when you need a backbone. You know, I mean, dang, how many women sit there and hear this stuff and have to do away with it because it's so impactful to them, and it's so heart draining. And I was speaking on an energetic sense, like, oh man, a person's aura will be depleted hearing some of these stories. You make millions of dollars just to sit there and tell your life to somebody cleaning your room, where a lot of people don't have the intellect, the observation skills, or even the care to pay attention to these things. I've been to school. I've already done one thing. In 2 years, I would have done one thing for 20 years straight. You know, I'm only 24. Most people don't even do things 5 years straight after they get out of college and then they're in the real world. They may go to the gym, lift weights, but a rigid body isn't a flexible body, and a flexible body isn't a flexible mind. So now you're still limited. It's draining. You see so many people, both men and women. Yeah, I do it over. And you see a lot of people that are scoring, screw women, screw men. You can tell. You can easily tell the difference. You can easily tell when someone's been hurt so bad that they don't even have the wherewithal or the ability to forgive. My gosh, they are their own victim at that point. But there's going to be more and more people sitting here. They may have kids, but understand, people, your kids aren't meant to die with you. If nature has it so that the parent should be leaving before the child, why do you think it's so heartbreaking when a young boy is murdered and the parent is sitting there crying? Like it naturally hurts any person, because we're all still animals. We're species on planet Earth, last time I checked. You know, so somewhere down the line, we got to start being real with ourselves. A lot of people are getting in relationships because there's a hidden motive underneath. A lot of women are getting in relationships with dudes just for their money, just because they may have clout or they're connected to people, because they're insecure and they're in competition with men. So they want a guy that they feel that they're better than, as opposed to paying attention to the qualities that the guy actually has and accepting and realizing that this guy might be better than them naturally. I mean, just on a biological sense, on a chemistry sense, the chemicals in your body. Yeah, so I call it controversial. I don't think it's that controversial. Humans have been around for tens of thousands of years, depending on the theory, hundreds of thousands of years. We have plants older than some ancient civilizations. This is fact. It's fact. Archaeologists have found great finds. This is the stuff they don't teach in mainstream media. The reason why we have cliches is because cliches keep the simple things simple. We know what works for us. We're still humans for a reason. We're still flesh beings of this planet for a reason. So our thought doesn't make you too cocky or too arrogant. And I use the quotes very lightly because a lot of people are cocky in their thoughts. A lot of people are arrogant in their thoughts. And especially in America, times have been really, really great. I mean, besides all the taxes and the litigations and the systematic ploys to destroy certain things, and we could sit here and say, well, this was never the true nature of how things was going on, which is true. We did have more family and home structures back in the day. We could sit here and say mainstream media did push this, and I'm using my logical sense. If you follow the money, for the last 50 to 100 to 200 to 300, even to 2,000 years, majority things have been based off of money, some form of currency. If you follow the currency, you can sit there and find the root of a lot of problems. I run a small company. But unlike a lot of small companies, I didn't take loans. So I did everything from the ground up and earned every penny. When you earn every penny, you start to see how things work from a genuine perspective. When you know where the money is going and where the money is flowing, you can quickly sit there and say, hey, we ain't putting money into this. We're putting money into this. This is what's going to work, and it's going to happen. You sitting there taking out loans. You didn't really earn the money. I get it. You're trying to grow. You want size. You want the money to come back. But that's when you see a lot of businesses fail. Too many people are getting more than what they deserve or more than what they earn. That's why you see so many people get rich and fumble the bag. I think Anton Daniels was just talking about it today, sitting there talking about how all these actresses, athletes, millionaires are sitting there, about what, 70 to 80% of them are going broke because you didn't earn it. It's a different respect for money when you've earned it, especially when you've earned every penny, because you don't want too much of what you didn't earn. You really don't. But not to go too far on a tangent, I say all that to say, maybe people will listen to me, maybe they won't. Maybe we're already too far in the domino effect for things to change. Hey, I wish things were different. All I can do is do what I can do and lead by example. If people want to follow, people follow. If they don't, they don't. People are going to make their choices. People have always been making their choices. It's not a joke. A lot of people are nurses. Ask your local nurse if they're really paying attention. I mean, the people that have been nursing for 20, 30 years are going to see a lot of people in denial. No, majority people come into the hospital and they have someone to hold their hand. Okay. No. What we usually see is a person goes into the hospital and they have a large family. So a large number of people come in and that can skew our perception. But when you think about, in hospitals, they're at Yale, the only Yale in the globe, they treat hospitals like hotels, right? You try and get people in and out, in and out. How many other hospitals are running on this practice? It may not be their verbal ideology, but their behavior is exactly that. Get people in and out. How many people are coming in and out and don't have anybody that even knows that they went in? My, oh my. I mean, how many movies got to talk about that? I don't, it's, I forgot what I was listening to. You know what? I think it might have been Dan Bilzerian. He was sitting there saying how he hasn't even watched any good movies anymore. It takes a high degree of intellect to make a good movie, because you have to have some meaning behind it. Movies are usually for the thinkers. We don't even see old men that sit back and watch movies anymore. And then we don't even see movies with great plots. I mean, a Shutter Island, a Memento. I mean, movies that really make you think. What was the other one with Kevin Spacey, and he was playing as the cripple guy, and whole time he was the guy, and he was telling the story based off of the stuff that he's seen on the clipboard. I mean, god dang, the stuff that really makes you think. You don't even see stuff like movies aren't made like this anymore, because it takes intellectuals that have to see the world for what it is, and a lot of people don't want to see the world for what it is. Hey, to each their own. But I hope this finds somebody, and maybe somewhere down the line we start treating people with more kindness, more love, more appreciation. We start valuing things that actually matter in life. Yes, money is great, but it ain't the end all be all. How many millionaires we sitting there not happy with the fact that they got all this money, but they don't have the family they want. They don't have anybody to say they love or hold them at night. I mean, but hey, what do I know? I'm a young 24-year-old. I was just born yesterday. I used to scrub toilets for a living. Don't listen to me. College dropout. You want to keep up with me? Follow me on Instagram at the Betting on Myself Experience. Yeah, at b.o.m.experience on Instagram. Yeah, I had to think about that. Like I said, I've been doing one thing for almost 20 years now. It's martial arts. I just picked up different arts over the years, practice, training day in and day out. Been to college, been to school. I've read books that people don't even know exist, looked at maps. I'm in certain communities. I'll drop my name in here and there. But hey, man, I just be looking at the world. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not too big for a reproach. But yeah, follow me.